A very good day to all of you. Welcome back to day 13 of the Daily Answer Writing Initiative. So, I am Vilasini from Officers IAS Academy. For those of you who are watching this video for the first time, kindly make a note to take a look at the first video of this very playlist. So, let us look at the question for today. Why is lead toxicity a source of public health concern in India discussed? So, going by this question, the key terms are lead toxicity, public health concern in India, and discuss. So, before getting into the question, let us understand few things. So, in a recent article published by the Center for Science and Environment, this article revealed that there is an increase in alarming cases of lead poisoning in India. Similarly, another organization called as the World Health Organization has also said that lead is a substance which can be ingested orally, can be inhaled deep into the respiratory tract, and can also be absorbed by the skin. So, all of this boils down to the question, what is lead toxicity? And why is it a growing public health concern? So, first, let us understand what lead is. So, lead is a chemical element which is naturally found on the Earth's crust. So, now lead is also a heavy metal, meaning it is relatively denser when compared to several other materials. So, now what is lead toxicity? Whenever there is an increase in the concentration of lead found in the human body over a prolonged period of time, this is known as lead toxicity. So, now having understood this, let us go back to the question. So, since the question says talk about why lead toxicity is a public health concern, and since this question is asking us to discuss the issue, let us look at how we should approach this question. So, the first thing with regard to the introduction, you can talk about what lead is and what lead toxicity is. Then, moving on, you can talk about the sources of lead poisoning in our country. So, here you can say that there are different ways. Several activities such as mining for minerals can also contaminate water bodies, increasing the risk for lead exposure. Similarly, smelting. There are also battery recycling. There is also parts to do with automobiles, lead based paints. These are all several reasons why lead exposure or lead poisoning can take place. So, now having spoken about this, we also need to justify the demand of the question. So, since it says public health concern, it is important to quote statistics or facts or even findings of reports in your answers. So, few findings for you. It seems in India, 2,30,000 premature deaths have happened because of lead poisoning. That is one. Next, you'll be surprised to know that 275 million children have high blood lead levels in their body. So please understand blood lead levels. In short, BLL. So it seems the WHO has given a permissible limit up to which lead can be found in the human body, which is again 5 microgram per deciliter. Fine. So sadly, the blood lead levels are beyond the given permissible limit in most of the children found in our country. Also, lead is a substance which not just affects young children but also adults too. So, in our country, several states such as Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Andhra Pradesh have all reported high blood levels in their populations. So, now that we have substantiated this particular question with relevant facts and findings, let us move on to understand what the requirement of this particular question is. So, we've started with an introduction. We have also listed out the various sources for lead exposure. We have gone forward to talk about certain findings from different reports. Then, moving on, we need to talk about the impact of lead toxicity. So, one thing you need to understand is that lead in harmful quantities can cause significant damage to human health. So, lead is one particular substance in whose concentration is very high can affect the brain as well as the nervous system. In fact, it can also affect cognition function of children. So, what is cognition? The ability to think and perceive. In fact, it can also bring about behavioral changes, reduce attention span. Apart from this, it can also cause anemia, hypertension. It can also damage reproductive organs. In fact, lead toxicity is also said to be damaging to pregnant women and their children. Let me talk to you about a case study. In the year 2010, in the Zamfara state of Nigeria, there was a severe lead poisoning outbreak. Several children and adults died because of intense lead poisoning. Initial investigations revealed that this could have probably been because of increased gold mining which was happening in the region. Further, blood samples and their reports revealed that the blood lead levels in the populations of children and adults were somewhere around 119 microgram per deciliter, which is way beyond the WHO permissible limit of 5 microgram per deciliter. So, such instances highlight the growing concern of issues such as lead poisoning in several parts of the world. Now, since we're talking specifically with regard to India, let us understand what are the major challenges with regard to addressing this issue. So, the first thing is that there is a lack of awareness about growing cases of lead poisoning. Third is the availability of funds to reach out or to address this issue. Next is that there is a lack of systems for ensuring effective screening for different populations. And the most challenging thing is that the diagnosis happens usually at very later stages. So, this is the plight or this is the major reasons why there are growing cases of lead poisoning in our country. So, it is important that issues like this are taken into consideration and addressed seriously to reduce the overall expenditure on healthcare and to reduce the healthcare burden in our country. So, this is with regard to this particular question. So now let us discuss and let us find out what are the best answers for the day. So now there is an answer written by Jesslyn Sharon from C Batch. So looking at this particular answer, Jesslyn, you have mentioned the sources for lead contamination in India in a very beautiful way, which is very appreciated. So moving forward, you have also spoken about the public health concerns of lead in India. But just one suggestion over here, rather than separately writing the health concerns with regard to children and adults, you can group them under one particular category and talk about the various other concerns which are there, like we had discussed in the question earlier. One thing that I like is that you have written a way forward for your particular answer, which is highly appreciated. So, all of you can also note several healthcare initiatives or schemes that are available. For example, the National Health Mission also aims to address this particular issue. So this is one thing which is very nice in this answer. So next, moving forward, Chudamani Sridhar from the Bangalore batch has also written a very good answer. So talking about going by the answer, you have spoken well about the major sources of lead exposure. You have also spoken about the impact of lead poisoning on different levels. Either you can group them into one particular category and address this issue separately, like we have discussed in this question. So also you have given certain statistics. So these statistics that you have given, you have mentioned the permissible level, etc., which is again highly appreciated. You have also spoken effectively on various challenges, which is again good enough. But also make sure you do not go beyond the expected word limit. So please keep that in mind also. Next, moving forward, Jawahar has also written a very good answer. So one thing that I want to tell is in Jawahar's answer, there are good points with regard to impacts. So the cause of concern over here is the map. So it is good to represent a map, but rather it has to convey a particular point effectively. So maybe what you could do is when you look at states, different states which are affected by lead poisoning, you can shade specific regions. It will add more value to your answer. So this will also give the examiner a very good impression about your particular answer. So please keep this in mind. Next, going below, okay. So with regard to way forward and measures taken, you can group them under one single category. Rather than having too many points, have limited points but convey your thoughts effectively. Although your points are really good, it is important that again you do not go beyond the expected word limit. So please keep this in mind. So these are the best answers for this particular question. Now let us go back. So this is it for today's answer. So now going forward, kindly make a note of tomorrow's question. Food security is a multidimensional concept that goes beyond mere availability of food. Discuss. So all of you, please write your answers and upload them before 12 p.m. without fail. Thank you.